looking at citizen engagement in the fight against crime and criminalities. Why did we come to this result? We realize that it's like government, like I said earlier, has reached its status end. But then it also, on the other side, appears that the citizens are displaying nonchalant attitude. If you travel outside this country, everybody is security conscious. Everybody is aware of his or her environment. Everybody is aware who is their neighbor, who comes in, who goes out. If there's a new neighbor, people try to find out his background and all that. Like in UK or America, there is a neighborhood you may want to enter. If they do some background check on you, they will say, no, you won't live in this neighborhood. We don't have such in Nigeria. Partnership with Nigerian Union of Journalists. And we are organizing a national security conference which is holding next week, Thursday, 22nd February at the Nigeria Air Force Conference Center, Kado. The essence of the conference is to address the lingering security issues in the country today. As we all are aware, security has become the major threat, not just to our lives and properties, but also to the social, political, and economic development of this nation. For more than a decade now, moving from one part of the country to the other has become a very Herculean task, either by road or by sea, or even by air, because even if you go by air, you will still land and you will still move by road. Abuja, as we know, used to be said to be safe, but I think it has lost that glamour. Abuja is threatened now like virtually every other part of the country. So we, as journalists, both in New National Star and AUJ, we decided to activate our constitutional mandate as journalists. Because apart from the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, the media is the fourth estate of the realm. And we are called the watchdog. Now, we know what a watchman does, and we know what a dog does. So if we are a watchdog, that means when you see, you must bark. If you have a dog that doesn't bark and doesn't bite, the next thing you do is to give it to people that eat it. So we don't want to abdicate that responsibility, which is constitutional. So we said, fine, we must rise up to the occasion. Since it seems government has reached its status end, and it's like they have exploited all available options, why not we bring all the stakeholders together and let us discuss this issue. Let's find a way out of it. Even though generally we can say kidnapping is almost everywhere, but we also discover that each zone of the country has its own peculiar security threats. For example, in the south, Niger Delta, we'll be talking of maybe crude oil theft, sea piracy, and oil bunkering, which is economic sabotage. In the southeast, the word unknown gunmen have become so infamous that the remembrance of that word alone has become a fear on its own. I know a lot of people that have never traveled because of fear of being killed. In the southwest, we also have the issue of kidnapping, Hadar's famous clashes. The same thing in the north central. Even as a few days ago, there were issues in Makurdi and other parts of Benue where people are being slaughtered like goats and cows. In the northeast, Boko Haram has become like the second tenant in that area. It has become difficult to eliminate, despite all the billions spent so far in the name of security. In the northwest, we also have kidnapping, and we have the issue of illegal mining, which we understand has become a reason why a lot of lives have been lost. So what do? We decided to, so okay, let's have a stakeholders meeting. And like I said, it's holding Thursday next week, 22nd. And we're going to have our special guest of honor is the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, who is also going to deliver the keynote address. The chairman of the occasion is the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, His Excellency George Akume. He has already accepted to chair the occasion. The FCT Minister, Yeson Wike, is the chief host, while the lead paper will be delivered by a well-known security operative, the current chairman, Nigerian Police Service Commission, Dr. Solomon Arase, who is also a former IGP. He will deliver the keynote speech, or rather, he will deliver the lead paper. But then we'll have discussants or sub-teams, and each sub-team will try to bring a professional in that field to look at those issues. But we are looking at citizen engagement in the fight against crime and criminalities. Why did we come to this result? We realize that it's like government, like I said earlier, has reached its status end. But then it also, on the other side, appears that the citizens are displaying nonchalant attitude. If you travel outside this country, everybody is security conscious. Everybody is aware of his or her environment. Everybody is aware who is their neighbor, who comes in, who goes out. If there's a new neighbor, people try to find out his background and all that. Like in UK or America, there is a neighborhood you may want to enter. If they do some background check on you, they will say, no, you won't live in this neighborhood. We don't have such in Nigeria. How many of us even watch their shadows, as they say? You will see someone who will say, as I was entering my gate, they blocked me. That means all the while you didn't know somebody was following you. Because for him to have followed you to your gate means you are not conscious of what was happening around you. So we want to look at citizen engagement, and that's what Arasa is going to discuss. Citizen engagement in the fight against crime and criminality. Then, within this citizen engagement topic, we have some sub-teams. We have a one-time super permanent secretary, a former ambassador to 7 countries, and the current chairman and pro-chancellor of Governing Council, Federal University of Technology, Akure, Dr. Godlo Zigali, who look at the issue of, when you're talking about citizen engagement, what should be the role of political, community, and religious leaders. Then, Chief Ray Nkenderem, MFR, a former Director of Operations, DSS, will look at intelligence gathering and intelligence sharing as critical aspects of national security. Then, Honorable Shade Adeboju Joseph, a well-known cyber security consultant, will look at combating cyber security and internet fraud in Nigeria. How do we do that? Because that's also another dangerous aspect of cyber security. Today, when you talk about Yahoo and all that, and when you say, oh, they have cleared my account, one of my cousins, I think was it yesterday, they defrauded over 1.something million. And you will cry, and that's the end, nothing happens. Then our own Iyobosa Ewujari, the General Secretary, Nigerian Guild of Editors, will look at the role of media in the fight against insecurity in Nigeria. We, as media practitioners, we also need to interrogate ourselves. How well have we handled our responsibility? Particularly social media, even the traditional media. Sometimes some of these insecurity issues are being ballooned, if I may use that word, by the media. Sometimes even the fear being created is also being done by us. So let us also do self-introspection by bringing a professional to also discuss what have we done and how can we do it better. Then, like I said, in the Niger Delta, we have the issue of crude oil theft and oil-borne crime. And one organization there, Tantita Security Services, no matter the way we look at it, has done well from what you've read. So we also want them to come and share their experience with us on how they have been able to confront that issue in the Niger Delta. So who are we inviting? We're inviting virtually every Nigerian and non-Nigerian. Everybody resident in Nigeria has an issue. The hall is 1,000 capacity. What we only do is that we will try and make sure that we checkmate infiltration, but everybody is invited. Security operatives, non-security operatives, civil society organizations, journalists, NGOs, community leaders, chiefs, because when you say kidnapping or kidnappers or somebody was rescued in a forest, somebody owns that land. If you doubt me, go there and say you want to build a house. Somebody will come and tell you that's my land. But they're using that land for kidnapping. They're using it for ransom, and he's not talking. And there's a traditional ruler in that community. So we're inviting them. We're inviting everybody that's interested in the growth and development of Nigeria to be at that event. And we believe that at the end of the day, there will be a communique, and then we'll be able to put government to task. And that's why we're glad that the Secretary to Government of Federation has accepted to be there. So that whatever is the resolution at that day, we as journalists will now follow up with the government to ensure that those things are implemented. And like I said, it's been done by new national staff, newspapers, in strong partnership with Nigerian Union of Journalists. And we remain grateful to Dr. Gizo, Madam Shaibu and others for openly welcoming us, welcoming the idea, and giving us all the support. And we believe at the end of the day, people will no longer say, oh, journalists, you people are there, what are you doing? Let them also know that we're not just writing, we are also contributing our quota to the growth and development of the society.
One thing that we must always do is to set the right agenda. Because if we keep quiet and allow political actors to dictate the pace, it becomes a challenge. They will always set agenda that panders to their whims and caprices. So it's better that the fourth estate of the realm must rise to the occasion and set the right agenda. We are disturbed at the level of insecurity across the country, plaguing our nation. It's taking time to look at them from the zonal perspectives. The Northeast, of course, the issue of insurgency, Boko Haram, and what have you. If you go to Northwest, Banditry, and if you go to North Central, you talked about farmers said as a challenge. You go to Southeast, secessionist agitations, culminating in unknown gunmen ravaging the entire zone. Today it's very difficult for anybody to freely go to the Southeast and relax for 2-3 nights without living in fear. You go to Southwest, of course, ritual killings, kidnapping, and what have you. Then if you go to South-South, militancy, of course that has reduced to a very large extent. But what has assumed a national dimension is the crude oil theft. And we are so happy that from amongst them has risen Tantita company, security company, that is doing a whole lot of good job to arrest people who are involved in this crude oil theft. Just about 2, 3, 4 days ago, the House Committee, the House of Representatives Committee that is linked to issues around crude oil security, and of course Niger Delta, led by Right Honorable Ado Dogoa. They were in Obroza, in Warri South local government area of Delta State, where they inspected some of the vessels arrested by this security company. It simply says a lot, and that's why this security conference, they are very much involved. They are going to talk to us about what they are doing in that area. And we also need to applaud them where necessary. I always say it. Media activism is not about antagonism. We are institutional partners, and that's why we talk about the first estate, the second estate, the third estate, the fourth estate. It simply means one way or the other we are supposed to work together, and that's why when people have done well, you also need to applaud them and say you are doing well in this area, so that other people who are not doing well will equally learn from that. So in this conference, from the flank of the NUJ, we also intend to recognize the headship of Banditry Oil for what they are doing in the Niger Delta. And that will be unveiled in the course of our program. So I think without boring us with words, at this point I may have to pause. Just know it that the issue of security is everybody's business. All of us must have to be involved in one way or the other. When we talk about the media having the responsibility of informing, it simply means we must pass the right information. It is also our duty to educate. We must properly educate our people. And when the tension is so high, it is also our responsibility to do what? Entertain. That way we douse the tension. So you can see that from any flank you are looking at it, the media is a strategic stakeholder in building a climate that is safe and that is environment friendly for everybody to dwell in and for businesses to thrive. And that's why we are not just sitting idly, watching and do nothing. This time around, the media were rising to the occasion to at least congregate Nigerians. Let's come together and discuss this very important issue that is facing all of us, issue of security. And by the time we are done, like he said, whatever resolutions, whatever is a communique that will come up from this conference will also pass say to the governments whose responsibility it is to ensure that there is safety, that people live in safety, there is peace, there is tranquility in the system. Of course, the primary responsibility of a responsible government is to ensure that there is safety of lives and property. That is the primary responsibility of government. Secondly, is to ensure that the welfare of the people is not toiled. If you go to the Constitution, these are indeed the irreducible minimum. And that's why we are also not shying away from that. Let's discuss, not just government bringing us together, let the media now bring the rest of them together. And let's discuss and find solutions to our problems. We want to appreciate government for their efforts so far, because anybody that says the government is not doing anything, let the government back up for 24 hours. You will understand that the government is anything. So we must appreciate the fact that the government is also working around the clock through the security agencies, the police, the secret police, the DSS, and of course the military. They are working around the clock to ensure that our country is safe, no doubt about it. But we also need to make our own contribution, by putting together these conference, so that at the end of the day, it will not be said that we just stood idly and we did nothing. That's why we are also bringing our own contribution to the table.